Hi everyone, doing LeetCode again in Kotlin, doing threesome closest, giving an integer array nums of length n and an integer target. Find three integers and nums such that the sum is closest to target. Return the sum of the three integers. You may assume that each input would have exactly one solution. So giving an array of -1, 2, 1, -4, and then the target is 1, we want to return 2, and that is because -1 plus 2 plus 1 is 2, which is closest to the target of the combinations here. And if we have, three zeros, the output would be 0 because 0 plus 0 is 0. So to solve this problem, we are first going to sort the array. And then we are going to create a for loop that loop through each one. And at the same time, we are going to create two pointers and kind of like solving a two sum problem. And we have a pointer all the way on the left and a pointer all the way on the right. And then add them up and compare it with the target and also the result that we are keeping track of. And whichever one is closer, well, we would move the pointer to left or to right depending on which one, depending on the result. Like um, if the sum is less than target, so the sum is less than target, we want to move uh, the left pointer to the right, and if the sum is greater than the target, then we want to move it to the left. So that way we could find a value that's closest to target. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna get started. First, I'm going to sort nums, so using a built-in sort function and just redeclaring the variables like we use the variable nums, and then we'll get results. So because it's saying that we may assume that each input will have exactly one solution, and we'll have the default result to be the first three numbers, so num 0, 1, and 2. And then next up, we are going to write a for loop. So we can use repeat here, and then we actually want nums that size minus 2. So I mentioned earlier that we are looping through each one and then going to use a two-sum technique or two-pointer technique to find the rest. And because I did two is because if we are right here, we can't really do two sum with one number. So we want to stop at this number so we could add these two and also add this one for the three sum. Because if you're over here, we only have two number and can't do three sum. So first, gonna create a left pointer, which would be it plus 1. So it or I is here, and then we want the left pointer to be here. And then the right pointer should be nums.size minus 1. So we want it the last variable. And then we are going to have a basic while loop for these pointers. While the left one is less than the right one, we want to continue this loop. And we are going to calculate the sum. So nums of it plus nums of left pointer plus nums of right pointer. And this is a neat thing we could do here. If sum equals target, we can actually return target. Because if we found three values that add up to the target, we should just actually return it because that's the closest you're gonna get. And then, as I mentioned, we want to move the pointers to the left or to the right. So if we sort the array and then we're looking for a target of 1 and it is at 4, we have -1 and 2, so the sum for this case is 3. And because 1 is less than 3, we would want to move the bigger one to the left. So we would, if we move the right pointer to the left, we would have, uh, if the sum is actually, if the sum is less than the target, we would actually want to move it to the right. Sorry about that. Because yeah, I was doing the math and I was like, if we move it to the right, then that's -4. That's actually further away from the sum. We actually want to move the left pointer to the right, so that way 1 plus 2 is 3, and -4 plus 3 is -1, and you can see that -1 is closer to 1 than 3. So yep, if sum is less than target, we would want to move the left pointer to the right, and then therefore the else statement would be move right pointer to the left. Now we want to do some math to set result to sum, and we should set result to sum if if sum is closer to the target than result. So we can use absolute value here, where if we do sum minus target, so if this one is closer, therefore smaller, than result minus target, then we want to set result to the sum. And finally, we should be able to return result here. And if it doesn't go through this, it should at least go through it once, because we always start here and then there's always two variable. But yeah, so I mean, it wasn't set here because they're equals to each other, so it will return default value for a default case. Running the code now, and it's accepted, submitting this, and it's also accepted. Alright guys, hope this makes sense to you guys. Enjoy the content, feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks.